Hope you saw the video I did a couple weeks ago, back in the summer, about making Chipotle peppers, because today is basically part two. Right here on. So what we're going to be making today is Chipotles in adobo sauce. And let me tell you, I went out and researched this for a while. And basically, adobo sauce is the Mexican version of macaroni and cheese. I mean, it's not macaroni and cheese, but everybody's got their own recipe. Some of them, I looked at them, I'm like, okay, this is quick adobo, and it calls for adobo sauce. No, 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 no. Today, we're going to make it traditional, and we're going to make it from scratch. So, I've got my instructions right here. I'm going to post the website that I found all this on down in the comments. So if you want to follow along, you can. And here we go. So first thing we need is 4 guajillo peppers. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump these out. And I was going to do all these up and just tell you that I had them, but I decided I'll go ahead and do them in front of you. So what you do is you take your scissors and you cut off the top, and then you cut out the middle. And then dump your seeds in here. And then put them in your skillet. And I'm going to do that because you got to bloom your spices. I'm pretty sure you know what that means, but basically it means we're going to put them in the pan and heat them up and release the oils. But for this, what I'm doing is just getting the seeds out. You can have a couple seeds in there. I'm talking like I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. But we will work on these. Make sure I've got all the peppers I'm talking about. Yeah. Now I went to a local Mexican market, or Latin market, excuse me. And the lady there didn't speak English. And I didn't speak Spanish. But we were able to communicate because food is like an international language. And I was calling these guajillo peppers. And she looked at me and said, "Guajillo? Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Guajillo peppers." So she got me a bag of these guajillos, which are these. And they are dried version of another pepper. And I don't know what that other pepper is off the top of my head. And I didn't write it down. But down in the show notes, you'll find all that information down there. Okay, that's all the guajillos. This is a chili arbol. The recipe called for like 3 of these. I'm only going to put in 1 because I happen to know that these are spicy. And I really don't want this adobo sauce to be spicy. I just want it to be flavorful. And I apologize for not looking at the camera much because I'm trying not to cut my fingers off. All right. So now these are ancho. Once again, off the top of my head, I don't remember what a dried ancho is, but I knew they have a fruity flavor when they're dried. I think that this is the same pepper. Get the pepper when you get chili rellenos, but I could be wrong. But I know they wait till they ripen, turn red, and then they let them dry. Oh, come on. Thought I'd be smart and do this one without the scissors. Apparently not. Okay. Now, I'm going to set this up because I have to use my spices here. And I need cumin seeds. Cumin. And as Robin Williams said, knock, knock, cumin. I miss Robin Williams. Cumin seeds, 1 teaspoon. This is what makes Mexican food smell like Mexican food. Coriander. Coriander. Now, coriander is also cilantro. In fact, in England, they call cilantro or coriander, they call cilantro coriander. Okay? And I can't stand cilantro. I'm not too hot on these, but I'm going to put them in anyway because the recipe calls for it. But it's not much. It's 1 teaspoon. I'm not going to do a heaping teaspoon on this one. There they are. Peppercorns. 1 teaspoon of peppercorns. I keep these around to make my ground pepper. Bay leaves. 2 bay leaves. I was at the restaurant supply place the other day, and they had this huge jar of bay leaves, and it cost just about as much as this jar. And I thought to myself, why do I buy the little jar when I can have the big jar? They're just dried leaves. But and another question, they're dried leaves. Why does it have a shaker lid? But there, let me go and find the whole cloves, and I will be right back. Well, I thought I had whole cloves, but I don't. But I do have ground cloves. And oh, since the final solution of this is we're going to put it in here, I'll go ahead and put the ground cloves in here. That should be about 4, maybe a little bit more. We need to kind of bloom these. Supposed to mix these around to smell it. I'm not sure I'll be able to smell it. Here we go. I just caught a whiff. And just enough of the peppers to soften and the other spices to bloom. All right, so there goes that. Go ahead and put these in here. All right. Now, if you remember these from the other videos, these are my Chipotles. And what you're supposed to do is take about 8 or 9 of these and just soak them separately. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Oh, what the heck? Let's go 10. A nice used to be red one. Close this up. They say this recipe is time consuming only because you have to let things soak. You have to wait. Sorry. My kettle's come to boil, just about. I'm close enough. Yeah. So you put the hot water enough to cover your peppers, and we let that soak for 20 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to do the same thing with the chipotles because we can. So you all hang in there. We'll be right back. Looks like we've got about 10 minutes of soaking time left. So let's go ahead and do the next step here. And that would be in the frying pan, we need 4 teaspoons of olive oil. I could eyeball this, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And this recipe, like I say, is pretty precise as far as what you're supposed to do here. Other recipes just said to add olive oil or add vegetable oil or stuff like that. So now we're going to start this thing up. And I have 1 cup of diced red onion, which I'm going to put in there. And I have 4 tablespoons of garlic. Is that 4 tablespoons? Oh, it's supposed to be 4 teaspoons. I'm not sure. I did this a minute ago. Let's just double check this. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was pretty close. I'm using the jarred garlic. I'm lazy, sorry. I could have diced it up. So then we need a 1/2 teaspoon of oregano. And this is a fresh jar, so that should be good. So there's my 1/2 teaspoon of oregano. And a 1/4 teaspoon of the cinnamon I had to go get. Quarter. And then 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Let's put that in there. And 1 teaspoon of brown sugar. Oops. Be right back. 1 teaspoon, that's a tablespoon. 1 teaspoon of brown sugar. Probably seems worth it. But there it is. I'm going to go ahead. I'm supposed to add all of this to the blender. So I'm going to go ahead while I'm thinking about it. And I'm going to add my vinegar, which is 1 tablespoon. Just going to add it to the blender. That way I can make a little ring here. And 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Well, here's a 1/2. I'm going to add it to the pot or the pan there. I don't know why it doesn't call for it there. So there's a 1/2. And there's a 1/2 with 1/2. That's 3/4. Stop that. And go ahead and add all of this. And let me look at my clock real quick. 20 minutes. So let's take this and put this over here. There's our blender, lid for the blender. And if you're wondering about our Chipotles, once these get soaked and looks like they need more time, what you're supposed to do is add the sauce back to the pan and let these simmer for another 20 minutes. Well, I'm going to let you use your imagination and say, yeah, he did it, okay? Because I'm more concerned about what this is going to taste like. So let's let it go, okay? You know, whenever I do one of these recipes, I think back and say, well, what did they do in old Mexico when they didn't have electricity and they didn't have blenders? Makes you want to say, if you know what they did, leave me a comment. So I don't know if the adobo sauce is a new invention or if it's a traditional one. I don't know. Anyway, back to blending. I'm going to leave a document down in the comments about adobo sauce because a lot of people have asked me just what exactly is adobo sauce. And it's a condiment, it's a marinade, it's a lot of stuff all in one. Anyway, back to blending. I'm going to kick the spurs here real quick. Apparently that didn't do it. Watch this. Let's see what we got. I'm scared. I'm a lot scared. Here goes. Whoa. Whoa. Oh. It kind of looks like Montezuma's Revenge, but it doesn't taste bad for a marinade. Oh. I'll bring it over and show it to you. Check this out. See there? Like I said, Montezuma's Revenge. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Google it. So the next part of this would be to put the chipotles in it and let it just simmer in that pan for 20 minutes or so. Well, like I say, these don't seem to be softened enough yet. Yeah, they still got time. But the water definitely smells like smoke, so they are chipotles. I was successful in that. So anyway, this has been adobo sauce with the smoked chipotles. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and Click on my little face over here, and we'll see you next time. Bye. You still here? Are you bye. Adios. Sayonara. Later. I'm going to push the button.